If the podium starts to vibrate, you know it's my phone. I'm going to time myself. And I will not take 10 minutes because we have a great agenda today and a great deal of work to do. But about a week ago, I was in a gathering and an individual told me, if you have a party, and this is a party, never bring up two subjects, religion and politics. So, let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about a perfect storm this November. For a number of years now, I believe, throughout the Rocky Mountain states, as the most fertile ground for Democrats in this nation, the winds of change have been blowing. And there are some recipes to a perfect storm. And those recipes, we'll also talk a little bit about cooking, I guess. The recipes for our blue storm in November are simple. Find the best citizens in the state of Utah to run as candidates in every area of our state, and we succeeded there. Work harder than your opponents, and we do that every time, but we'll even work harder this time. And talk to voters about the things that voters care about. Voters this past year in many forums have said, I want a public servant who's trustworthy, honest, has integrity, and is a decent person. And they say that they may not agree with those candidates on every issue, but if they trust them as people with those values, the common values that make Utah what it is, then they will be able to get their vote. I assure you today, as you hear our candidates, and throughout the counties, as you see the counties' candidates for legislative seats and county-level seats, the county parties this year have done a remarkable job. And the stars have lined up for a blue November. Now, I'm not saying that the state will magically turn blue, but it's going to be purple. And so again, on behalf of the state party, there's a few things I want to say before we move on. All of the staff that work so hard, your party has some of the most committed, dedicated people working night and day in that party office, and many of you have been there. In the past, you may have seen, give me a minute and I'll talk a little bit more about them. In the past, you may have seen 3 or 4 or 5 bodies in the state office. We can't move anymore. We need a building this size. We now have 26 staff. We have 16 young people under 35 that are out there every single day working for our candidates and talking about common values we talked about. But we have the remarkable opportunity to have Democratic National Committee staff assigned to Utah, and they are the heart and soul of what has made a lot of the recipe for this perfect storm possible. And I personally want to thank that staff. I know they're buzzing around all over, but everybody that's on the party staff, please stand up and take a very well-deserved round of applause. I think they're too busy out there working politics to be in the room, it looks like. More than anything, though, success means all of us. In this room today is the real recipe for success, because each of you have made a decision that the candidates you support or candidates yourself have an opportunity in 2008 to deal with the obstacles that Utah has faced when it comes to prioritizing our children's education, when it comes to conducting the people's business in the light of day, and when it comes to stopping developers from having puppeteers as state legislators. After November of 2008, we hope to have more join the likes of our great Democratic public servants, so that if you've got a wealthy friend, you don't get a stadium built after you. And if you got the speaker's position, you don't get every zoning ordinance you want, or you don't get developers coming in from out of state giving you land in St. George and in Utah County. Those days are going to end. They're going to end because we are committed. And I just want to wrap up, because we have a lot of business today, to tell each and every one of you the most critical component of that victory, that perfect storm of opportunity this November, is in this room, and it's in your neighbors and it's your family. Every single day, we have asked Democrats in this state to talk to 25 of their neighbors over the next, what do we got, 178 days to Victory Day here. And I know that some people have been reluctant with that, and our vice chair has done a great job of going out and getting people more comfortable. But think about it. You talk to 25 people every week probably about what's going on in this country and why it needs to change. And you are the reason this party, our Utah Democratic Party, I believe, has an opportunity to have the highest percentage of our citizens and Democrats and moderate Republicans in Denver in August for the nominee to have 1 million names. I think that Utah may have an opportunity to have the highest percentage of our population, registered Democrats, on that list, because you have all responded. And it's because we've had enough. It's been too long. There's been too much arrogance, and we're going to march to victory in 2008. And I thank all of you for the work that you will do, because you will be the ones that make it happen. Thank you very much. I made it. Rob and I coordinated outfits today, but I want to say your vice chair's done a great job. Vice Chairman